Joining us now is Brexiteer Lord Michael Howard and Remainer, his wife, Lady Sandra Howard. Now, we've spoken to you during the campaign and afterwards. Sandra, let me ask you, you were a Remainer. Are you now a Remoaner?
No, I'm not a Remoaner. I'm much happier than I thought I'd be. I've coming round slowly.
What has made you come round?
I think we've got to think really forward and positive, and I think we're not doing the things I worried about and pulling up the drawbridge and becoming a little England. I don't think we're going to be like that.
But Michael, we spoke to a senior German minister earlier in the programme, and he was really upset that we're doing this. And when I put to him that Tony Blair and others are trying to campaign to get it reversed, he was like, great, we would absolutely support that. We do not want this to happen. Is there a cat in hell's chance of this getting reversed?
No. And your German minister should have been putting pressure on Angela Merkel at the time that David Cameron was negotiating his deal to give us a completely different deal. If we'd had David Cameron set out to achieve fundamental and far-reaching reform of the EU, which would have been good for the rest of the EU as well as for us, if he'd succeeded, I would have been on the other side of the argument. And so it's too late for your German ministers to say, oh, what a shame. If they'd realised then, they could have done something about it.
Do you fear that as a result of us saying we're now out, that we will be punished for that by the other member states? Whether you think that's right or not, do you fear the consequences of that?
It would be very foolish of them to do that, and I think they would suffer the consequences much worse than we would. I absolutely agree with the Prime Minister. A bad deal would be worse than no deal. I would prefer there to be a deal. That would be best for us, best for them. If there isn't a deal, we'll be fine. We've got to get it out of our heads that we are some kind of supplicant. We are the 5th or 6th biggest economy in the world. Everybody wants access to our market, our rich, developed market. So we will be fine.
I found also, I've thought this about after the terror attack in Westminster last week, there is a slight creeping tendency for people to talk down the country, both post-Brexit and post that attack. You know, we're being brought to our knees. It's all going to be apocalyptic. My sense of the British public is whatever side you're on with all these issues, when we get told that, we tend to come out and go, no, we're not on our knees.
Absolutely.
And I feel that as a Remainer, I think we're in it. Now let's make it great.
Yeah, but we're not alone in these negotiations. We have the best part of 30 countries who have their own interests, and that's quite strength in numbers.
No, but if you take the worst case, we'll be fine. If there's no deal, we'll be fine.
And if we default to WTO tariffs and imports and exports cost a heck of a lot more, and food prices go up, and the areas which voted leave might end up worse off.
If you look at what's happened to the value of the pound since the vote, that more than compensates for any tariff barriers, any import barriers.
Inflation is up, food prices already up.
Yeah, but it's still very low by historic standards.
The bottom line is we have not had the financial apocalypse they all warned.
Absolutely.
It just hasn't happened yet. Now, it may do, but I'm not sensing that's going to happen.
To be perfectly honest, I thought that because the vote obviously did lead to some uncertainty, I thought there would be a bit of a dip. And I was prepared to accept that. And we haven't seen it.